all that stuff. So all the stuff for you guys running around, you knew that was going to end up you were going to put together a film and put that to one of the songs.
No, that was all Richard. I think Richard collated a lot of that and then decided where it would go. But we did have a lot of Super 8 footage of us just being kids running around,
setting fire to Craig's leg hairs.
Yeah, and just like and Richard would of course also say like, what about this, what about that sometimes, but then he would just also just let us do whatever. He was never very like super prescriptive. There were certain things which were prescriptive and was Richard's vision that he, like, I remember for the railway bridge scene, he would show us, and he did this a few times, is he would show us clips from other films or things that he would show us clips of something which was an inspiration for, and he would just say just this kind of tone. So it was a lot of tonal things, because obviously the tone of the film is very specific.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the preparation for that was tonal inspiration, I would say, more than anything.
Like a mood board.
Yeah, like a mood board, yeah. But he would it would be a clip. Sometimes before we would film stuff, we would get a visual or a clip, and that's the kind of tone we were going for, or that, you know, and that was really helpful. I'd never worked like that before, and I found that really, really helpful. I'm more of a visual learner as well, so I think showing me something and me being able to understand the tone then I could take that. I remember with the letter reading as well, when Jordana reads the letter, that was another tonal thing as well. So
yeah. And are those clips like, so for like camera reference, like this is what we're going to do with the camera, or was it more like emotional, like, you know, this is how it's going to feel?
Both, I think. I think they were like sources of inspiration for visual, but also emotional. So both, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the character you play, Jordana, who, as I say, like you and Craig together on screen in character, there's something so striking about the image of you two, like, you know, you have the red duffel coat, Craig with the coat he's got, which is kind of with that collar. It's almost like sort of Jean-Pierre Melville, this kind of thing going. It's this sort of this collar, and when you guys are on screen together, it's kind of magic. I mean, you mentioned the red duffel coat earlier. Did you guys have much input on like what your characters would be wearing, or was that all left to, you know, the costume designer?
I think, you know, Richard's vision was very strong. I don't think I'd be wrong in saying that. And the costume designer, they obviously worked together. Like, for example, I mean, you can't tell now, but my hair is very different to Jordana's hair, and Richard had that vision of the bob. So I remember he came with me and we went to the hairdressers, and because my hair's naturally quite curly, I've obviously straightened it now, but my hair's actually quite curly and I have really long dark brown curly hair. We just chopped it off and chemically straightened it, so I had like a relaxer, you know, and that was all Richard. He came with me to the hairdresser and just cut my hair off. And
this is what it's going to be. Boom.
Yeah, so he had his vision was so unique and very strong. And yeah, you're right, when you said at the beginning, he knew exactly what he wanted. And with the costume, I believe with the coats, that was Richard's vision, and the colour contrast and all that stuff, and all the colours. And he had a very strong, I think, vision for the tones and the colours, and him and Eric also, I believe, would have worked on that. But I do remember that Richard would, and this is like the amazing thing about filming it, was like when we were filming in the school, for example, Richard would take us to the locations beforehand, and he'd be like, where do you want to sit, or he would let us lead a lot of things that felt natural, rather than prescribing us, right, this is where you go, this is where you stand, which as a child actor is often what happens. You know, you show up on set and it's like, this is where you stand, and then at this line you do, you know, I don't know if it's changed now, but a lot of the stuff I did was quite prescribed, and there is a creative outlet, of course, but like I said, there's much less sort of like freedom for children, I think, when I was a child actor, sort of like doing that. It's much more prescribed, and obviously there's much more time constraints as well, so I understand that. But with the film, we did a lot of rehearsal. We rehearsed, like, I think pretty much everything, and we were very fortunate to have that time, and in that time, Richard allowed us to explore the sets, and we got to choose a lot of things, like where we would go, what we would do. So for the date where Oliver comes over to Jordana's house,
Is that the Christmas date, or is that the one where you go to his house? Because there's a couple, isn't there? There's like where
No,
like,
I go to his house. Apologies. I go to his house and I walk up the thing, and then I get to the door and I'm like, thanks for living up a fucking hill. And I
hilarious.
remember, remember when we were rehearsing the scene, I was like, bloody hell, right, up this fucking hill. And Rich was like, yeah, say that. So there was like certain things that would, there was a lot of improv as well, and a lot of things that did end up in the films, like, you know, I don't think I said, oh, he lives up a fucking hill, but I was like, well, no, he lives up a, what the hell is this hill? And Richard was like, yeah, say that, say he lives up a fucking hill. So, sorry, I'm allowed to swear.
No, go for it.
But yeah, so like that came from that moment. So when he opens the door, I'm like, thanks for living up a fucking hill. So that came from that moment, and that lion that she wears.
Yeah.
So, you know, when she's at the table and I've got like the, not lion, the tiger. I remember Richard took me into like a clothing, like the place where all the costume was. And he was like, pick what she would wear on this date. And I would like look through all the things. And then I saw the tiger and I was like, this one. So there was a lot of collaboration like that.
Yeah, that's amazing, because it's interesting hearing that was improv, because it feels completely in character. It feels completely natural with the rest of the movie and the rest of your performance. And I wanted to ask about that actually, because I know, because obviously, as you say, you're from London originally, but
Yeah.
you're playing this sort of this